Boom! We're in the house working. There may or may not have been some camera issues, as per normal. What's happening, Feast Friends? Welcome to another live. It is myself, the Dizzle up yonder.
Word
Sir,
up.
how are you?
I'm doing better now. I had a rough patch after our last outing, but outside of that, I'm doing decent now.
Yeah, old tender heart Dizzle up there. He can only get in 1 day a week of fishing with me now. I'm too much of a wild animal. He can't keep up with me.
Dude, that day was crazy. It was like the previous day was 62, and then the next day
It
was
already froze
97.
2 minutes in, and I
Oh man. That's a good picture. I would leave it just like that and see if it comes back on.
Yeah,
That is a
look at
good
that
picture. That's
Screenshot.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
We'll
That's a
just leave it like
good
that for a
screenshot.
minute. Um,
Yeah.
also got Gramps. Well, I try to figure out what the hell's going on with
Joining us live tonight on the phone is Debo.
Yes. All right, I'll be back.
It's like the guy from war-torn Croatia or whatever. That's
like Max Headroom from
yes. Oh god, Tom Gross, why you got to do that? The new drink, Debo frozen drink.
Yeah,
Debo gets up, drink.
Every
Debo
is just give me a cheers. So also Gramps in the house. Gramps, what's up, my friend?
Oh man, lots of good stuff to talk about this week. It's been a wild few weeks and around here. April has been awesome.
I have seen the pictures and the things going. We got a bunch of people in chat right now. Appreciate everybody already joining. We're a minute in and I already have 150 people in there almost. Kuda in here. Kuda, I was actually going to pick your brain on today. Where's my phone? Today I caught a number of good fish. The biggest coming on a little creation of DEBO'S here. Let me go larger. A creation that I made. I call it the Ned jig. So this is one I tied up. Was just messing around. Now I want to give credit where it's due. Kuda had a great stream about that. Just being yourself, not being a schmuck when you make something and try to take credit for it. Which, if you do, that's your deal. But I don't. I follow the same line as Kuda. And I remember Battle Baits being the first skirted Ned head that I had seen. I don't know if anybody makes the EWG Ned heads. Kuda, you are the man I was going to ask. So if you know other folks that have done that. Oh, also Pig Jig I know does one, I believe, but there's others. So I don't know. Kuda, weigh in for me there. All the members out there, just like Not a Bot or Liza. Liza, I see she said she had a I don't know, 20-pound bag or something in an hour or something stupid. Liza, quit showing off. We don't like it. Scott Vermonter, all the members out there, everybody tune in to watch. Love y'all. And I froze again already. So I might have to let Gramps take over for a minute and tell us
take the wheel.
Yeah, because he was at the Bassmaster Classic. I wanted to get him on to pick his brain about some things that were out there at the Classic, lures, gear. So Gramps, I'm going to start it off with give me a lure, and it doesn't have to be a new lure. It could be something else, different color, different version. A lure and a piece of gear that you were the most excited about. I'm actually going to try restarting because I haven't restarted in a minute. So I will be back, but I'm going to leave it with that. Dizzle, don't be blocking and banning too many people while I'm gone.
I'll try not to.
The lure I was actually kind of keeping a secret because it's something I think is going to be super effective around here. But I don't know that a lot of the people that I fish tournaments against might be tuning in because a lot of them are out fishing tonight. So, Randy, keep them engaged. I'm just gonna walk around to this side of the table and grab it real fast.
Yep. All right. So what do we got here? Yeah. Barry. Yes. Drink. Midwest Fisherman. Hello from Chicago. Caught a 6-pounder on a spinnerbait last week. Come on, man. Dude, I still have yet to break the 6-pound mark. Obviously I want to break something bigger than, my current just under 6, but you know how it goes. What you got for us, Gramps?
So I ran into a new company who has come up with something different. So, do you remember? I think it was last year, or maybe the fall of the year before. You remember all the hype around the Inu rig?
I remember talk about it. Yes, I couldn't tell you what it is or anything like that. I never
So
fished
people
it.
would take a like a trick worm or something and put a couple holes in it, and when you twitch your line, it kind of folds it and then
Oh
straightens
yeah.
it back
Yep.
out, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Kind of
there's a
like
new
accordion
company.
like, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
there's a new
Yep.
company out there, and that we ran into, and they're called Lawless Lures, and they have basically perfected. And me showing you the actual lure won't make sense, if that makes sense. But if you go look up Lawless Lures and look at the videos that they've posted of the action of this thing, this could be a real interesting lure that a lot of people haven't seen yet, and even better, the fish haven't seen yet. But they've basically perfected what the Inu rig was supposed to be and made it even. I can't even describe it. Like I said, I was going to keep this kind of a secret and do some videos on it, because me and Jeremy were just blown away by the action of this thing in the tank.
Is this
And
that thing that has like the holes, like the rivets in it, and you pop it and it's like,
yep. So
okay, yep, I remember seeing
Lawless
that.
Lures was my favorite lure there, and I actually bought one. Nope, wasn't a frog, of course not. The Spro flapping frog will be the one that spoils everybody's, because I've got it and I'm ready to, when I start throwing it next Thursday. Hint, hint, clue, clue.
Did you get the new ones? I forgot to ask you that, or maybe I did. Did you get the new ones that they fixed? Somebody said they fixed it, and I don't know why. Like, I have zero ties with Spro. I've never talked to anybody from there, but I freaking love that frog. But it had to be on like my teetering line of best and worst,
Yep.
because every one that I had last year that I threw within like 5 casts, it lost the weight out of the butt. So
I just ordered them like over the winter, so I don't know if they've got newer than what I had.
Well, you'll have to
But-
let me know. Yeah, supposedly they fixed them. Somebody was telling me, but I don't know.
Okay.
So let me know. Cast it
Anyway,
10 times and see if it still has it. Anyway,
Since I haven't done a video on these yet, but look up Lawless Lures, you'll see the videos they've got out there, and it's screen freezing from up here, yeah. But this was the most interesting lure at the
Jeremy in the house.
at the classic, and it's the only thing that I bought because I was so enamored with it. They wanted to give it to me. Yeah, Jeremy's mad because he's like, Jeremy's name right now is Old Town Angler in the chat, if anybody's wondering. Jeremy and I were going to keep this, so most of the folks back here may not, know, but so as far as gear goes, I got two that I have to talk about.
So the worm. So I'm sorry. I missed it. Was the worm one of your favorites? That thing, because just a different, strange look.
Yeah, I mean, that was out of everything that I saw that was new. I mean, yeah, who was it? Megabass had this like they were doing custom colors for the classic, and if you go to 4 different Megabass things and you collect all 4,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You get like a little box. Of course, two of the places were sold out of them by the time I got there, but I ended up
Gramps,
getting
is that called the
little
recoil?
lunchbox. But I got 2 out of the 4 colors, so that was cool. But it's jerk baits, whatever. I was looking for something new and different, when I was running around. So
hey, Gramps, is that called the recoil?
Yes, the recoil minnow.
What size is that? I see they got I'm just looking at their site right now. I didn't know what
I've
size.
got
Lawson, is that right?
I've got
Lawson Lures.
Lawless.
Lawless Lures.
Oh, Lawless.
And I've got the 4 1/4. So I went the ones with the most lifelike. This one's like black shad and goby.
I see they got a 3.25,
yeah,
4.25.
What I ended up doing is I think they've got 3 different sizes, and I got 1 set of baits in each size just to play with. So
have they done anything?
Oh,
they got a big 5.25 also. Have they done something else? I feel like I've heard of Lawless Lures before, but I don't
think so, because the guy who runs the company is like a former I won't say rock star, but he played in a band. I can't remember. this was all stuff I'm going to do all the research and do some videos on too. But I bet I didn't spend an hour talking to any one person, but I did with this dude because it was kind of that cool. And I'm all about, small business and, innovative, and taking things to the next level. But it's not easy to impress me and Jeremy. And they really had us captivated. It was wild. It was wild. So that was it for the baits. And, of course, you guys probably saw my impromptu interview with Brett Ayler, and who it happens I ran into while I was in the Bill Dance line, because I told Jeremy, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing any YouTube. I brought all my cameras, left them all in the truck. So we just spent the whole time down there not YouTubing. But, when Brett Ayler is standing there and you're like, I know that guy. And I know that Daiwa just released a bunch of new Tatula rods, or their upgraded version of the Tatula Elites. I had to hand my phone to my brother and said, I'm interviewing this guy. So I went and talked to him, and he was like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. So, of course, I had to talk to him about our favorite reel of, and it's the only Daiwa that I have, but it's the one that I've, all the Daiwas that I've tested.
That's the only Daiwa reel you have?
I got rid of, wasn't super impressed with all the rest of them, but this one still just owns my heart. If I was to settle on any one reel across the board, it would be hard to say no to the Zillion. But I mean, everything I love about it is, now I know they just released a newer, the next level up one, I think. But I mean, the Zillion for me, for that price point, it's a little stiff for a lot of people. But I mean, I've got to say it's one that I completely have zero regrets about spending a dime on. So after talking to Mr. Ayler, I put in a call to Graham as soon as I got home, and he had this thing almost to my front porch before I got back to Graham's. Don't say Daiwa's trash. Anybody who knows this is my number one reel.
No, we just heard it. You heard it here, folks.
This one, and everybody knows I'm partnered with Lose and Strike King, but this is still my favorite reel of all of them. But so Graham had me a Tatula Elite, the new one that we talked about. And I have to say, now I've caught...
Which one is it? Which one did you get?
I got his bladed jig rod. So it's the Tatula Elite.
Yeah, okay.
Because I've been on this search for the perfect bladed jig rod for the last several years.
Jim in the house.
And I've tested everything from the St. Croix Mojo Bass Glass Rip and Shatter, which was one that Z-Man actually recommended to me a couple of years ago. It's just, I can't even think about all the different ones that I've tested so far. The Victory, the Legend, both of the different Dobbins. I hear that the X Pride B72 Glass is a really good one. But, people are always looking for a good bang for the buck rod. And I'll tell you what, I've caught probably, 6 or 7 fish just since I've been home on this already, including my PB smallmouth that came today on this combo, Thunder Cricket with the 6 cents bluegill flush. I have not lost a single fish yet. And for a rod that's a glass rod under $200, I'm super confident in saying this will do. It's not as good as my IMX Pro, which is about as high end as I'll ever go. But for a price that you can get for half of one of those and have this rod, I'm really, really enjoying it. Now, a lot of the other pros, I guess they, some went with cork and some went with EVA. Mr. Ayler likes the EVA over the other. You and I, Debo, both have that little hang up where we like to rest our finger under here, nice and smooth, without that ridge thing like you see on a lot of the others.
Yes, super comfortable. I didn't mean to share
I mean, just this is the perfect.
Hey, now
we could do. Hey, hold on. We could do this. Actually, that's kind of a cool view. While Gramps is talking, there we go. Look at this.
But I mean, I have been super impressed with this rod before, and I tried the previous generation of that Tatula Elites, and I just didn't really care for them. They, I don't know, this one this time seems to be a little bit better. It's probably the same blank. Maybe it's in my head. I don't know, but because I didn't have, I think I had just like a regular 7-foot something medium heavy versus this glass, chatterbait rod. But I'm actually not going to give this one back to Graham. I'm going to keep this one as a backup to my IMX Pro bladed jig rod because I really, really enjoy this that much.
Is that what's the rating on that one? Is that because it doesn't show the?
So it's actually, that's funny you say that. I'm glad you did. So like for me, everything, my baseline is always the Dobbins, right? So I'm a Dobbins guy through and through. So I compare everything to a Dobbins. The funny thing is the lure rating on this one is right between or like a combination of the 735 CB glass, which is their medium heavy, and their 736 CB glass, which is their heavy. This one actually goes from, I believe, half up to is it
quarter to an ounce? The Ailer 7.3 medium heavy Ailer. That's a fast.
This is a 7.4. This is what he calls his cranking and bladed jig rod. And this one runs from, let me not bang my lights up here.
Maybe I'm just a dummy and not looking. Is it a composite rod? So I see the Elite casting, Elite cranking.
So it's the new Tattoo Elite. It's the medium heavy RBG. So it runs from 1/2 ounce to 2 ounces.
And it's a 7.4.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, they must just be out of it as the deal then. Monroe, Howell.
What happened?
Looks like they're out. Okay, well, yeah, I want to try that because I was actually throwing the XT today, so I was going to show people kind of the difference. I am sharing, right? Okay. Sorry, we're kind of all over the place for a bit, but Gramps was talking about one of his favorite rods that he picked up, which is the new Elite. And I picked up a little while ago, I know I kind of talked about it a bit, the XT, which I think looks really slick.
Yeah.
And I got the 7.3, the 7.3 medium heavy, which of course it's sold out. But that's what I was using today to throw my chatterbait. I know it's a fast, but it's kind of soft. It's not like a super stiff. It worked. I think I only lost one fish on it all day. But I'm excited to kind of show that one off more because I think for a budget, Gramps was talking, the 180 range. So almost, half the price of that if you're looking for a good one. So far, I really liked it. I think it's comfortable. Gramps pointed out on the Elites, they have the foam, which is nicer than this, but still it's just the slick there because I like to finger the line. And I think that's one reason, Gramps, is that why you didn't like the Daiwa reels as much? When you put your finger up there, the Daiwa reels kind of, I don't know even how I can't even show this on camera, but they go from kind of skinnier in the back to like larger in the front where you put your finger, and it's kind of bigger up there. And I know that's one thing I try to tell people. If you're looking at a Daiwa reel, I don't have any near me, but I can show you like on the SLX how it's real skinny in front here. You put your finger in front, and my finger goes like all the way across. These are almost like a little small for me. Whereas the Daiwas, if you have like, I would say kind of like medium to larger hands, you're okay. But like if you have a smaller finger or like that smaller feel, I know that's the feedback that I've got from a lot of people that don't like Daiwa. So
yeah. And then one more piece of gear, because I have to talk about this because this for me was my actual. This is one that kind of shocked. This was one that kind of shocked me. So.
Yeah, shout out to Milliken. Trevor said, "How about Milliken winning the Open, leading the entire way, dude?" I'm not a huge Milliken. I don't watch many of his videos and stuff, but that dude is an absolute hammer who has put in a freaking crap load of work to get where he is. So like him, hate him.
You think about this now. He's qualified for the
freaking beast.
He's qualified for the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah.
So last year. On the kayak side, Fluke Master did the same thing. He won the tournaments he needed to go basically to the classic that it exists in KBF, and then Milliken turns around. It goes to show that the guys who put that much time on the water, their electronics, yes, they might be running, cameras and whatnot they're doing, but you think about it, YouTubers at his level probably fish more than a lot of the guys in the Elite series because it's their everyday job. So tell me who's probably more in tune right now I mean, I can see Milliken, I can see Josh Jones, another 6th Sense guy, doing the same thing because they are just used to, I mean, they're just used to chasing tanks and catching them.
Right. Yeah. And that dude is like, that's why, like, I'll see his videos. It's like another 10 pound. I'm like, I don't know how the F the dude does it. Like, dude, it's insane. Like, he's on a different level as far as, you know,
Yep.
a YouTuber. You know, I'm just a guy. Like, people will say, oh, Debo, you know, you're great. I'm literally just a guy who goes out and fishes. I am nothing compared to, you know, some of these guys like him, Tactical Bat. Like, these guys are out fishing literally all
Every
the,
day.
and he had the balls. Like, I remember back when, I can't even say how many years ago that's been, when I remember seeing his video. He was like, I quit, I went full time. I'm like, dude, more power to you. Like, I could never take that jump, and he did it and has just flourished. So love or hate the guy, dude, you got to tip your hat and absolute respect.
he's just smoking them. Yeah, we saw that, and I was like, YouTuber for the win. I mean, and he was in the top 10 his first time out, so this doesn't really surprise me.
Okay, so sorry. Anyway, Jim's got a question after you go over your second piece of gear there.
Sure.
Jim, we need to get you on, dude. Quit avoiding me. You and Bass Geek, I'm gonna have to drive over and slap both y'all. Damn it.
All he needs is some biscuits and gravy. He'll be right there.
No, they need to leave. They need to find a reason not to join us.
So the next one was pretty cool. I ran into my buddy Tom at the Classic, you know, in the Lose booth. Before I could find him, it was funny because the first person that I run into that I haven't seen in 25 years, Steve Parks, Mr. Rage Tail himself. So I sat there and probably talked to him for about 10 minutes and kind of reliving a little moment that he shared with me and my youngest when John Michael, who's now 24, when he was probably 5 or 6 years old. We were at a boat show up in Indy, and that's when he was, you know, first coming out with the Rage Tail, and everything was all Rage Tail. So he met, you know, my youngest, gave him a hat, gave him a bunch of packs of, you know, the Rage Tail baits, you know, and all this. And so we sit there talking, and it's like, my son is still just, you know, your biggest fan. He remembers everything about that and still has that hat somewhere. So that was pretty cool. So. Then I got to talking to Tom, and he wanted to go talk about the new Lose shallow spool. They redid the custom light.
Oh, you got one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he handed it to me and said, take it home with you. So I wasn't going to say no.
That's awesome. And, hell yeah.
I got to feel pretty good that, you know, Noah kicking their bass and, you know, all the other mock teams guys are running around over there. And Tom hands me this and says, take this home and go fish it. So, you know, we did a quick little impromptu because he knows how much I love the Pro SP, which is their skipping and pitching. So they basically did that in their custom light. So they put the shallow spool in it. And, you know, he was talking about it for jerk baits and things like that. But for me, the first thing I said was shaky head. You know, I wanted a shaky head combo, something if I wanted to keep my drop shot tied on.
Oh my God. Chat absolutely freaking cracks me.
Let's take a minute to pause for a little nugget on that equipment manager thing. The equipment manager, former equipment manager for Indiana Hoosier basketball, took his team to the Final Four this year in the NCAA Men's Championship. That's right. Coach May from Florida, whichever the one it was one of the managers for the Indiana basketball team. Never played, but always wanted to coach. So congrats to him. So, hey, look, nice. Equipment managers can get somewhere too.
Well, I've never been an equipment manager, but Gramps, remind me once you get done with this little bit that you're on. I do have a question for you from the Classic.
Okay. And so I was really looking forward to testing out this reel, which was cool. But the thing that really shocked me was this rod. So the new Elite rods, I still cannot believe, I can't believe I'm saying this. So I've not always been the biggest fan of Lose rods. I've had issues back of, you know, some.
Really?
I went through their Signature Series line. They were okay. Just, you know, under impressed, I guess. I've always loved Lose reels, but just didn't care that much about their rods until this one.
And which one is that? Is that the Elite?
This is the new the Team Lose Elite series.
Team Lose Elite.
And this is probably the light. People will lose their minds when I start comparing this rod to a Megabass P5 Destroyer with a G Loomis, anything X Pride or higher in the Shimano. I'm sorry, for a rod that's just under, like, I think 300 or whatever, around the Dobbins Champion XP lineup range. This thing is phenomenal, and I'm actually going to get more. I got the 7-foot. I got the 7.3 medium heavy because if I'm going to test anything, it's always going to be with what I consider the most standard bait casting rod, which is a 7-foot to 7.3 medium heavy fast action. And
yep,
I'm super impressed with this thing. I mean, I've got another one on the way. This rod is actually designated for the Elite TI reel that I'm playing with, which is currently sitting on that Megabass.
Yeah, you got all the
Destroyer.
fancy stuff. I'm behind. Like you got all the gear.
When you partner with some of the guys and you get a decent discount, it's worth it sometime to get some of the stuff to be able to play with it, because people want to know. You know what I'm saying? And if I have that opportunity, I will. Normally, I can check out anything from American Legacy that I want, but I didn't want to wait, so I went ahead and just put the order in with Luz, and it was here quick. But I actually, for shaky heads, I've actually got a 7-foot medium that I plan on throwing this on. And then, because I didn't know if I'd really like this rod or not, but ooh boy, after catching the 19-inch bass on it yesterday, well, 19 3/4, I was skipping a Senko up against some tree roots.
I was gonna ask you what you caught that. I was gonna say, was it the chatterbait?
No,
I would have guessed chatterbait. Okay.
The lakes right now, I think the fish are probably already on the beds, and the lake we were fishing was completely blown out with mud from recent rains. So you can't bed fish. And so literally the only option you have is either find them before they've moved up or pick points where they're going to cruise by. And thanks for Jeremy for kind of reminding me of that yesterday.
Hey, real quick, Gramps.
No, go ahead.
Kraken Bass just said, "What's your American Legacy code? If you could put that into the chat."
Two things.
You still have one?
Yes. So number one, if y'all don't know Gramps, go follow him. I put that up there for a second, but y'all have seen him on my channel before, so you probably know him. But if not, go give Gramps a follow. Fishing with Gramps, or I don't know how y'all are doing the fancy YouTube stuff and what the hell that's all about. Like Jeremy's got the Old Town Angler thing, but like I don't know how that works, because like yours is like Gramps, but it's also you've got the.
So I changed it back for now because it was kind of creating some confusion for people. But you can actually have a channel shortcut or whatever. So it's youtube.com at Fishing with Gramps, and that's how everything is branded. So I didn't want to go to the classic and like start handing out stickers, and then people be like, "Oh, I can't find this guy's page." And so I kind of switched it back. I was doing the like JT Gramps Hickman thing, but it creates a lot of confusion. So I'm just going to leave it, as it is for now. But yeah, you can change your name as pretty much as often as, I think it's like every 2 weeks these days. But yeah, I'm going to
also follow. Give Gramps a follow. Give Dizzle a follow. We want to get him to 1,000 subscribers without a video. And also, your American Legacy code, is it still Gramps 10?
Yep, still Gramps 10. And guys, if it's sometimes when their website updates, it doesn't apply. If you've got any issues, either message me and let me know, or call the shop. And, another little tip too, sometimes if you call the shop, since it's not a website interaction, you might be able to see, you might be able to save even more money. So your best deals are always going to be calling the shop and working things out, because they'll bundle. I mean, I've seen them bundle. Somebody got a new boat and they wanted to retool everything. They bundled like fish finders, trolling motors, all the gear, and they will give you won't beat whatever prices it's insane. But yeah, somebody did that, and I'm not going to say who, but somebody did that, and they saved a boatload of money. But when you're spending that much, it's worth it to them to to make you a repeat customer, and then you become a customer for life. Because
Right.
you know, I'm sure Debo spent a couple of bucks there himself.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, I probably spent more than a couple bucks there. I don't have like any affiliation with them, you know, just when Gramps shares something. But my biggest thing that I've probably spent the most money on is their used stuff.
Yep.
And that's like the big thing. You know, I saw Gramps toting that, and I'd never heard of American Legacy until him. So, you know, kudos to that. But yeah, check out their used stuff. I've always got like the great, or I don't know, excellent condition, like whatever the higher up one is. And
it always looks brand new, doesn't it?
It's like it's been brand spanking new. So yeah, check them out. American Legacy, they've been good to me as well. So Gramps, we got the rod, we got all the fancy gear. I'm kind of jealous. I'm gonna have to drive over there and try some of that. Which I love seeing. I love seeing you get your hands on that stuff and do an honest review. Now I know the Bill Dance thing. So everybody's, if you haven't, go check out his video. He got to meet Bill. I'm kind of spoiling it if you didn't see it, but Randy asked the question before of like what was, and he wanted to preface it. And I don't like when Dizzle gets in and does the whole prefacing thing, because then it gives him time to think about it, right? It's like a stage dancer. We don't do that here on DEBO'S Fishing. We want that real. So I'm gonna say, besides Bill Dance being your like super cool, you know, you went to meet him, you got it off your list. What was like one person that you met that you were either like, I've seen this person before and I didn't really like him, or didn't like know what to think about him, and you like were completely flipped of like, oh wow, I really like this guy, or that was really cool meeting him, or I had no expectation to meet this person, I did, and it turned out being good. That's what I'm going to flip it to, Dizzle.
Well, I just want to say that my question initially was, I said, hey, Gramps, while you're at the Classic, was there somebody that you walked up to and your eyes turned into like big heart stars and you got all blush, red faced, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe that's X, Y, or Z? That was what my question was. So
I guess at my age, you just don't.
Gramps, that never goes away. I guarantee there's somebody out there that if you were walking down the road right now and they were just like, oh, hey, Gramps, what's up? You'd be like, oh my gosh.
Basically, the way every time Dizzle comes over to my house, he sees me again. He does it. And I'm like, dude, you can stop doing that. Like, we've been friends for 12 years. He's like, oh, I just
stubbies.
No, I don't get that way every time I'm with Chad Hoover, because he and I are good friends now. So we're to the point now where we're sending each other stupid memes every day and talking smack. So I mean, as far as like the kayak world goes, I was that way with Christine Fisher the first time, and you know, now I can say she's a friend because, you know, we were standing in line to go into the weigh-in at the Classic, and they had just finished up doing the Kayak Classic thing. And she walked by and she's like, hey, she's like, why don't you hop out of line and come in with us and you can hang out with us backstage? And I'm like, oh, I'm actually standing here waiting. I said, I'm standing here waiting for Jeremy and Army Outdoors, who are in the back of the line. I'm waiting for them to get around here so I can go in line with them, because they didn't want me standing up in line all that long. But it was kind of cool. But to answer, so let me back up a little bit, because you guys saw the video from Bill, but what you didn't see was before we pulled the phone out and started recording, because they really kind of didn't want people doing that. They just kind of wanted them there to take the picture and punch in the cell phone and this and that. But when Jeremy and I rounded the corner, it's kind of funny. He's like, there's our American heroes. And that caught us both completely off guard, because it's like, you know, of course, we're wearing our Freedom Squad stuff. But if you hear him at the very beginning of the video, and he's kind of being funny, you know, in his way, but he knew who we were, and he knew that we were in line, which was kind of wild. But it kind of caught us off guard. And then, you know, I just like, I don't care, I'm recording, you know. And so I gave him some of my stickers, because, you know, that's what I do. But what a lot of people don't know is I can't stand very long. I mean, I've got really bad arthritis in my feet and knees. And so I'm literally sitting on the floor, scooting along for 3 hours. And we're in line with this young lady, Tiffany.
You had to wait 3 hours to see him?
Oh yeah. This was not going to happen. I said, I will low crawl through this line if I had to. And I'm literally sitting there. Every time somebody moved, I'd scooch, scooch, scooch. My cousin who lives in Knoxville came to see me. I wasn't getting out of line. Hey, cuz, what's happening? What's happened? Okay, bye. So that was really cool. But to answer Randy's question, because I got to tell this story, was the very last picture we took. So it was
real quick. I do want to jump in. We've got 310 people on. There will be a giveaway tonight. I want to talk about Do It, which coincidentally I am wearing the hat, was not planned. But they do have an awesome sale. I wanted to get a video done from it, and with life and work has been absolutely kicking me in the balls the past couple weeks. But I want to talk about a cool sale they have going on because I love those guys, want to support them. And then I'll do a giveaway, and we'll have to talk about what we're going to do for the giveaway because I want to think about some things. I don't know. So we're going to talk about that more. But anyway, back to you, Gramps. Sorry to jump in. Go ahead.
So Jeremy and I decided we weren't going to go to the final day weigh-in. We knew it was going to be nuts. I was on my feet way too, because Bill Dance was the #1 priority, bottom line. So we were going to, just skip the crowd, hang out at the Expo Center. So, I talked to Larry Melton Jr., hooked up with Hank. I ran into all these different, YouTubers, talked to Chris Aldane.
You should have slapped Hank for me.
Yeah. Went and saw Alex Rudd, so I found the folks that I missed Telebass. He was running around there somewhere. But on the way out, Jeremy and I are like, oh crap, we need to get a Bassmaster Classic hat before we go. So we see the bass store. So we're on our way out. We get to the escalators and we're like, and then we turn around and go back in. So walking past us was G-Man and his wife. And I just gave him knuckles and I was like, hey man, you're a super inspiration to everybody. I know you got to go, because he was trying to get over to the weigh-in. And I was like, bro, that was G-Man. I mean, how can you get any better than that? So we get over to the bass store. They're tearing everything down. No hats, and I'm like, ugh. So we're like, okay, let's go ahead and leave. So we get back to the escalators. Coming back down the escalators, once again, was Mr. G-Man and his wife. Must have forgot something, I don't know, but they're trying to hurry up and get to the weigh-in. I was like, man, that's odd, seeing G-Man like twice in a row. It's like, oh, I almost wished I would have got his picture, taking the opportunity. So Jeremy and I go up the escalator. We're in the bass store upstairs that's actually selling the classic stuff. So we go through, we find the hats. Oh man, these things are stupid expensive. I'm like, I don't care. I'm writing it off. We're getting a hat because we're at the Bassmaster Classic. We've been life members for decades. We're getting a dang hat. So we get our hats. We leave out the store and go back towards the escalators to go back up again and to go out. Guess who walks by for the third time? G-Man. Somebody stops him for a picture. He
wanted your autograph. He just kept coming back. He was too scared to ask.
He was like kicking rocks, and he's just like,
he's like, oh, well, I forgot something.
Well, I mean, I knew he was trying to get to the weigh-in because a lot of those guys were in a hurry. And I was like, as soon as the guy got done, the guy who stopped him is actually a fishing fan member who watches Fishing with Gramps. So shocked me.
Funny.
So I was like, G-Man, I know you got to go. I said, I've passed you twice in the last 5 minutes. I feel like I'm supposed to sit here. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I've lost 50 pounds in the last 6 months just so I can make an event like this. And for you to walk past me for a third time and me not get a picture with you, he's like, get on over. He's like, get on over here. So that's how I got the G-Man picture. And then he had to book off from there. But he was completely cool. And I mean, I love the dude who takes the time for his fans, even when this is like his Super Bowl, and all that too. So that was really, really cool.
I feel like G-Man is like one of those kind of guys that I might like kind of meld with pretty decently, kind of sarcastic, kind of doesn't really take a whole lot of things too seriously until he needs to take things seriously, He's
like that one. He's like that one uncle that everybody loves. That's always got the wisdom that, has been there, done that, and is a good example.
Funny as hell. His one-liners, I almost feel like it could almost be like that he's too good sometimes. Like I would be a hindrance because like I don't remember if somebody told this on a live or if I was reading this or watched this. Stuff melds together. I've been hit in the head too many times. But they were talking about him hunting. and hanging out in a tree stand with him, and he's like a completely different dude. It's like everything is business, like hunting is
Oh
his
yeah.
thing, apparently,
Oh,
like
yeah.
if you're not fishing. And like if you've ever seen like his, I think even in his shop he has a bunch of deer heads and stuff, but he's a huge deer hunter and stuff. But they said, yeah, like there's no messing around when it comes to hunting stuff. Like
Yep.
it's down to go. Like,
So like the
so
two things that really kind of drew me to him is there was like a fishing show. I don't know if it was I don't remember what it was, but it was like a 2 versus 2 kind of challenge thing that I saw on Outdoor Channel back in the day. And him and somebody else were driving along or cruising along a grass line in their boat. And he's like, grab your 1 ounce jig and just whack it against the water. So the other team thinks that they came through and we're getting all these different blow ups on frogfish and things like that. Just totally messing with them like 100%. So they were just like going along, smacking their lures against the water. And then the other thing was, I think it was on
poor Gramps would
Instagram.
know. Gramps would just keep driving. He wouldn't know what a frog blow up sounds
Yeah,
like.
wouldn't have a clue.
The other thing on Instagram, there was
That
like a
mean.
big,
I still love you, Gramps.
I know it.
there was a big
I appreciate the
snowstorm.
frog too, but
Big
I'm giving it
snowstorm.
away as
Yeah.
soon as I catch a frogfish.
Dang. What's that? A big snowstorm down south, and he just kept going out there with his tape measure and like putting it into the snow, and it wasn't even getting past the little like metal part that adjusts, so it wasn't even getting to like any type of measurement whatsoever. And he's like, snowpocalypse update number 16, it's still snowing here and this is what it looks like. Freaking hilarious.
He's just one of those guys that's naturally funny, and he plays it up too.
Yeah, dude. Somebody said, I don't know where it went, but they said, yeah, he could make a living as a comedian if he gave up fishing. Yeah, he's one of those dudes that's just like quick on stuff, and like he doesn't fumble when he's going through his thing. Man, he's got his 1-liner, 2-liner. He's just boom, 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 going through different things. Funny as hell. So, okay, so we went through a couple lures. We went through the people that you met. Was there anything there that you were maybe a little underwhelmed with? Were you like, I was excited to see this, and then you saw it and you're like, I don't know. Yeah, this isn't living up to what I thought.
I mean, really, they
Was
had.
the whole thing just so fun? You're like, I love everything here. It's just a good
There
time.
was the thing is with me. I mean, I know Ralph enjoyed it way more than I could have because he's he laughs when I say he's got 2 good legs when his legs are all jacked up too from his airplane jumping days. But for me, with I really have to limit my time on my feet because arthritis when you get old sucks, and it doesn't help that when you're fat too. And so it's just one of those things where there was a whole lot. I mean, I could have spent another week down there and maybe not seen everything, but I really wasn't. I had like certain things and people that I really kind of wanted to meet and see and do, but I didn't go through like all of the booths and do a lot of that too. I was kind of focused on meeting, just meeting different folks. I could being able to go to the Chick-fil-A breakfast with Tyler's Real Fishing, and Andrew Nordby was there, and meeting a lot of the other creators that we know was really kind of cool too.
Yeah, because the reason I asked that is because, and people have already heard the story, but I went to the Classic the only time I've been. That was back in like 2016 or 17 when it was at I flew into Greenville, South Carolina. It was a Hartwell.
Oh.
It was at Hartwell. I think it was 2016, 17. Anyway, I had went around to a few of the booths, not many, but a few of them. And there was a couple where it was like, I was a pain in their side for like, and I wasn't filming or anything. Like I, walked around and filmed, did that. But like, once I was going to the booths and stuff, talking, I was, just looking at lures and stuff. And a couple of them, it was like, I was a pain in their side for asking like questions and stuff. And then I've told the story about, finally meeting Scott at Spool Speed. I had no idea who he was. Didn't know I was with the guys from looking, Zach and Andrew. And we went over there and he was just cool as hell. Like, yeah, dude, come here, come here, look some of this. I do reel tuning, these bearings, bust up these reels, do the bearings, it's like Boca or Hedgehog, and I'd never played with any of that before. So yeah, it was a cool experience meeting somebody like that was very into their stuff. But I was kind of let down by some of the other booths that were like, oh yeah, we got stuff here. Look at it.
It would be cool if you're like a newer business, say within the last like 3 years, you guys are all in this one area, because
that would be
that would be the first area
up
that I
and
would go
comers or
to.
something. Yeah,
Because having to hump through all of 15 different boat retailers, I don't care. It's cool. Yeah,
well, I
you
heard
got
it
your
was
latest.
huge too. Like there was multiple buildings and stuff. Like, dude, that's nuts.
Oh yeah, in the main building there was 3 floors, and then across, where Hank
Jesus.
was across, across the street in another one, and it was kind of wild. I mean, Knoxville's a very nice town. I mean, that was. I learned a lesson too. I wasn't even going to try to park my truck and then walk a half a mile to get to the place. I went to the B&B, hopped my butt in an Uber, and country ass went, went mobile real fast. I'm like, we're Ubering everywhere from now on.
I've never taken. You said you did your first one. I've never taken an Uber. I've never done any of those. I don't even have that.
Never taken an Uber, a Lyft, or nothing.
Nope, I hadn't either. But when Ralph found the closest parking garage, which was like 3/4 of a mile away, I was like, bro, you realize by the time I walk these hills and get there, I won't even be able to walk around.
It's time to leave.
I said, I'm going back to the B&B. I'm downloading Uber. And I called my daughter who lives in Tampa, and she Ubers everywhere. And
How do I do the Ubers, honey?
Yep. And so, yeah, I became an instant fan. They don't have them around here. But I used it the whole time I was there.
You check out like Lyft or Uber, or there's a couple other ones too. But I mean, in small town Cedar Falls, Iowa, I've used it before. There was they have a Sturgis Falls every year, and it's like super chaotic. In my old house I used to live in, I was maybe 5-6 blocks away from the event where it happened, and there was a whole group of us going, like 6 or 7, and we're like, we're not walking down there. That's ridiculous. It's hot. It's humid.
Why would I pay for a parking garage all day when I can go back to the B&B and then get dropped off at the front door? Now, the coolest thing was, and this kind of surprised me, and Jeremy and Ralph gave me so much for this. I hadn't stepped 2 feet into the convention before I hear Gramps. That's the last thing I expected. And it happened probably 25, 30 times. Those two are walking around like they're my entourage. We got to protect the Gramps from the hordes of fans. I'm like, you guys.
Oh, it was a fan?
Me. But
did they bring their own velvet ropes and like things? And
so
just like
funny.
watching, like,
you know how it is. I'm just, guy, with a camera who makes videos. And I don't think anything about it. And, I got to tell you the one that floored me. We're walking over to the first day weigh-in, and there's an elevator we have to take to get down to get to the buses that are going over. And as soon as the elevator door opens up, there's a little 3-year-old girl, 3 or 4, and she just looks up and says, "We watch you on TV."
Oh,
and her dad looks up, and it's
You're kind of emotional like me. I'm sure you teared up.
Yeah. And her dad looks up and it's like, "Oh, Gramps."
That's awesome.
And stories like that. So yeah, it's so awesome when you meet your fishing fam, around wherever you're at. It's like when I went to Tampa and Liz was like, "Hey, we got to go fish." And just it's so humbling and cool and still surprising, but it's awesome. It really is.
It is super crazy. Like I mean, obviously I have a channel. I haven't posted anything, and nobody would ever know me from, the next guy along the street if it wasn't for Debo. But like random people will just come up to me like at different places and they're like, Dizzle, is that you? And I'm just like, it blows me away. It's not, nothing to your guys' extent, I'm sure, but it's still, it's crazy. You guys are awesome. Everybody that follows.
Speaking of awesome, how about awesome Aussie Cat becoming a member? My friend, everybody that donates, members, I can't thank you all enough. Just like Gramps is talking about, I'm a dude that fishes. I'm literally just a guy. So, Gramps saying this stuff and Dizzle, we truly mean it. It's not like we're just, blowing a bunch of BS smoke. Dizzle and I remember there was this one time we were fishing at a dock and somebody was him-hawing around kicking rocks behind us. I'm like, what the F is this guy doing behind us? And he was like, Debo? I'm like, excuse me? Like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, are you Debo? I'm like, oh, yeah, what's up, man? And then we started talking. He's like, oh, I was kind of scared to come up. I'm like, well, what the hell are you scared to come up for? Like, come up and fish if you want. Oh, okay. It's weird like that. I'm just a guy, and I'm sure, most of the fishing guys are the same way too, the fish and the pros and stuff. It's not like we're national, actors known just people that fish. So I think that's a lot of, kind of the fishing, what do I say? Family, or like that, kind of that moniker is like, it's just a bunch of dudes that fish. Like somebody was saying, I think it was Jeremy was saying in chat that, Ralph had Matt Robertson that gave him a ride in the back of his truck to weigh-ins, on him fishing. He's just a dude that fishes. And I mean, I guess he's kind of the epitome of just a dude, like,
oh yeah,
blue collar, freaking get after it dude, working and fishing. I think he would be a fun one to hang out with. Honestly, too, the more I watch Johnny Cox, I think John Cox would be one that I would like to hang out with and power shallow fish. I think would be fun. Real quick before I forget, because we've gone down a couple rabbit holes of stuff, gone on some tangents of things. I know us on this channel. No, actually, we've stayed pretty well. Gramps has dialed it in and done a good job of steering us here. I did want to say real quick, I was going to make a video and I felt bad I didn't get to it. Anybody, if you paint or do any sort of bait making stuff, it does have 25% off right now. The blanks, their eyes, their paints, all that, stencils, everything that they've got. Obviously I've partnered up with them. I've been up to their shop. They're an Iowa company. If you're going to get any of this stuff, you might as well get 25% off and support those dudes. I highly recommend the walking bait. It's like the Excite Baits Heckler. I don't think I have any around here. It's the same shape and look as the Reaction Innovations Vixen. Definitely has a different sound. The Vixen is like that shallower, like knock sound to it. These sound more like a sexy dog, KVD sexy dog. So far, that's my favorite blank though, is that Topwater walking bait. They work anywhere, but I did leave a link down below to my Do It link. So if you go buy anything over there, use my link, tell them Debo sent you. Support an Iowa company. Of course, I am nothing but a simple Iowa guy. So go check them out. I did want to get that in real quick because I felt bad. I wanted to make a video and tell people because that's a good way to save some money. Real quick too, we are going to be doing a giveaway here. We're at 52 minutes, usually a little bit of past the hour. I'll get the giveaway going, and I'm going to have to think on what we're doing. I've got a couple ideas, and this is going to kind of lead into it. I had a really good day today catching some bass. Dizzle, you missed out. I invited Dizzle to go with me this morning.
You didn't invite me today.
I did. I invited him this morning, and he said no because he heard Chris Russ actually text him because in the video, if you watch the last video of me and Randy fishing at like a minute 30 in, he's out on a little ledge of a rock, and I was this close. I had the chance to Spartan kick him in, and I thought, like, how pissed would he actually get on that video if I did it? And I decided not to. Chris called out in the video. He's like, a minute 30 in. He's like, you had the perfect chance. I'm like, dude, I about pissed myself laughing because I'm like, dude, at that moment, I thought like that was the first thing that came to my mind was Dizzle's landing this like 3.5 pound bass. And I'm like, how mad would he really get if I did it for the video?
I mean, I had
a
my
fancy
phone.
Camera.
My camera's waterproof. It's fine.
I wouldn't do it. I love you too much to do that.
Maybe I would
accept it. I'd kick you in a puddle. Nah, he's had the chance. Listen, Dizzle's had the chance to do it to me, and I've also fell in, and Dizzle's pulled me out. So, okay. So, getting off track, that was maybe our first tangent. Getting back onto track. So, I want to talk to you about fishing. Gramps, I've seen you catching some fish out there. Multiple people have been talking about what's been working, what hasn't been working. The first one you already said, your big fish you caught on a Stanko, which surprises me. But right now, I did want to talk some spring fishing talk with folks. What's been maybe the couple lures that have really been working for you? I'm going to let you take over for a minute because I got to pee. I was actually tying jigs with Dad. I'm going to go grab one. Actually, I think he took all of them. Piss. Anyway, it'll be another thing. So couple videos or couple lures that have been working for you out there while I go pee.
So for us here right now, we're just in that weird phase, and it happens every year in Indiana. It's like we never know when the stupid spawn's going to be. It's like in deer hunting, when's the rut? We never know. you always hear this, oh, when the water turns 55 degrees and the crawfish start moving and throw
the
red
moon is
and this and
just
that.
right, and
That all seems to happen like in one day. And then it's
yeah.
warm, and then it's supposed to be cold again this weekend. So it's like every body of water is different right now. So I took the boys out, Freedom Squad got together last weekend. I took them out to one of my favorite places where if I need to catch a giant, that's where I like to go. And it was completely, we've had so much rain and, all the creeks get muddied up and, everything is somewhat stained right now. And it seems like that always happens in April showers. I mean, it's coming.
Mhm.
And so the fish can be really picky. Now, like the guys that I know that are running live scope, they're tearing them up. They're still finding the fish that haven't kind of come up out of the deep yet. We suspect that some are already on the beds. When we go from, it seems like water temperature in the 40s, one weekend, and then I was in places, yesterday where I fished where it hit, in the upper 60s in just that fast. And so I'm figuring, hey, water this warm, I'm just going to start throwing a chatterbait and I'm going to tear them up. Oh, nay, nay. But so I mean, the suspicion is that some of the fish they're probably on the beds already, but the water being as stained as it is, you can't see them. So it's one of those things where you start. I fish in a kayak a lot. You guys know I have a boat, but I need to sell Debo a boat because I just don't spend any time in it. But
I don't have a place to put one, dude. My buddy Matt was selling one, and his boat was freaking sick. He was gonna give me a good deal. I don't know where to put it. I checked like store garages, and they're $200.
Oh, you
bucks.
can't know.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna freaking pay $200.
you used to be able to get a storage utility. You used to be able to get a utility place for like $40 a month, and now they're wanting like 100 and something. There's just no way.
Yeah,
But
I can't.
So the water temps go from 40 to 60 that fast, but it's wild. So I mean, last weekend I caught a small limit, and a couple on a shaky head, one on a big blade chatterbait, and two on a jig. And it seems like if you can't catch anything in the Midwest right now, just slowly drag a jig. You'll probably catch a fish.
And it's Jeremy. Jeremy had said that too before, that the jig was working for him in Indianapolis. Of course, Dizzle, and it's kind of been the same for me, dragging a Ned rig, or that's why I wanted to grab today's thing, because I figured you might say a jig too. No, I'm going to save it for the video. It's kind of a fun deal. And I don't know, Kuda, I think Kuda probably hopped out. I didn't see at the beginning because I was restarting. If he ever, there's somebody, Brian Schmidt is the other one that I was going to ask Kuda if he did it. But a couple people that do that EWG Ned head with skirting material tied to it, I'm going to call it my Ned jig. I don't claim to be the first person that's done it. That's why I wanted to give props where it was due. But I think
check out the YouTube channel called The Little Stuff. It's from Jeff Little. And
is that Dizzle's channel?
What his forte is he's big in the kayak rigging world, right? He works for Torpedo, and he's the guy who like rigs Iconelli's kayak and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
really?
He is big time into kayak fishing, but kayak fishing for smallies. And he's the guy who took his do it mold with the Ned and took his Dremel and just took a little piece so that you get a little bit of lead right there at the top of your hook when you pour the Ned, so that you have something to tie your little jig skirt with. And so he's actually been making these for a couple years now. And I mean, Jeremy and I saw this when we were at the national championship, and then when Do It came out with that katana crawl. Oh my goodness, that little bait's going to catch some smallies on the river. I mean, I
like that one. Yeah, it's worked around here. Just even with largies and like some of the small lakes we have.
Yep,
it's a good one. I do want to show, so real quick, just to give people an idea. I think he's on Tackle Warehouse now. But he's always on Kuda's. If you guys ever go watch Jig Squad, go check out his show. Kuda's just a good dude. I wish I could have spent more time hanging out with him. But he talks, jig making stuff. What am I looking? Oh, Brian Schmidt. Squirrel. So he does. Yeah. Okay. This was the other one. So I was going to ask him if there's any more. But okay. So again, everyone that I've seen, though, I don't know of anybody so far. And I didn't want to claim it as the first one to do it. But everybody that I think I have seen do this, add stuff to it, is on just a regular Ned head. Now his looks 1,000 times cleaner than mine. He is very good at what he does, and like you can see some of the head colors and stuff that he does here. I can't make it any bigger, but dude is super talented. But it's something like this, and I'll show you in the video as kind of a precursor, tease y'all for it. But
I mean,
I
I'm
don't know
not a
where I was
big
going
fan of
with
the
this.
Ned, but one thing I've learned today, especially fishing with two of the guys that fish smallies all the time, the lightest Ned that you can throw
Hula coops.
is how you keep from getting hung up in the rocks. I've got just like regular net heads, I guess, and it's like every time I throw this dang thing, I'm getting hung up. And he's like, "Man, you gotta pour the lightest ones possible." Because it's just that much easier to shake them out of the rocks because of like the Elastec, or again, if you're pouring, those little katana craws from Do It, that is such a good looking bait. I mean, I'm not a Ned guy, but I'm going to put that thing on a Ned and throw it a bunch in the river this year for sure.
Actually, if I get up, hold on.
Oh, drink.
Let me grab my Propel.
Jeez, the only thing.
Speaking of katana craws, here's one of the coolest colors you can make. I don't know who made it. Oh wait, it was me. Oh, I'm kidding.
There you go.
But it's a Junebug green pumpkin copper that I made. Yeah, they're pretty cool little Ned rig craw style. They got these. I was pretty skeptical of.
Yep.
I'm like, those aren't going to do anything. Man, I tested it in my tank. They really do.
Those are like the chigger craws, crazy leg craws, whatever they were.
Antennae.
Yeah, the crazy legs or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. Debo, this is the only thing I got near and around me.
I was using that today to tie those, and I thought of you. I'm like, man, I bet Randall has 2 of these. So last night, I feel really bad to admit this because I'm a huge Western guy. I love Westerns. And I think I tried to watch this once, is Unforgiven. And it Gene Hackman, right? I think is his name.
Clint. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen The Quick and the Dead 1,000 times, and I'm pretty sure I turned Unforgiven on once and thought it was The Quick and the Dead and didn't watch it. My dad's like, "You haven't watched it?" He's like, "Boy, what the hell is wrong with you? Watch Unforgiven." So I watched it last night, and awesome movie. But anyway, I don't know where that was going. I am kind of all over the place. So
hey, real quick, a question for you. 834 from Real Daddy. Question is, when do you guys expect your Topwater game in the Midwest?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Because Gramps, I want to say maybe like if we went straight east.
Weren't we pretty much straight in line?
No, I was going to say, I would say he's maybe like, if I look per Iowa, I would say maybe like 3 hours south of us.
Yeah. I think you guys are more in line with Michigan and up a little bit.
Yeah, we're almost straight shot from Chicago, so it's like however far down you are from.
Yeah.
Straight shot Chicago.
What do you? Hey, the Bulls. I was hoping the Bulls were going to straight shot into the playoffs, but they didn't.
Are they still playing?
Daughter. They got beat. They beat Toronto, but DeMar DeRozan, who they call Debo, by the way, which I love. His nickname's Debo. His daughter, I think it's DR. Cute as can frickin' be. Every time Toronto was shooting, she was screaming. They ended up missing I think they shot like 56% free throws. Dude, I was cracking up. I'm like, go girl, get them. But anyway, gosh, where was I going with that? I had something in mind too, right before I started talking about basketball. I am on my brain is just like all over the place. I have questions.
Well, you were
834. What was the Topwater?
Oh,
Topwater.
Real.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So May should really fire up Topwater. Now, saying that, we saw some action on the smallies on the river today, and I'm not a river fishing guy, which is funny. I grew up fishing on the river down here, but there's 2 forks of the White River. The one that I fished on today is the one full of the giant smallmouth. Unfortunately, I live on the fork that's on the other one, and there are some smallies in it, but it's not even worth me getting on the water majority of the time. So we fish a lot of pond, lake, and all that. But when we go up and fish the fork we were on today, I mean, that 18.5-inch smallie that I caught today, probably about 3 pounds. yeah, I've never caught, anything that big ever. And it was just, an amazing,
They
that made
fight
my
like
whole
hell
day.
too.
I mean, I ain't lying. But, that's the kind of quality, because those are the ones they're coming down from Michigan and, up there. I think if I were to trace the water back all the way up, I think it comes down from either St. Clair or one of the other big, kind of like smallie factories. So it's pretty good feeding them, but they stay up on, Indianapolis and up because there's actually rock in the river. Down here on
Getting up
our,
there to
down here,
spawn.
it's like mud bottom and all that. And it's just bleh. But, Topwater should start for us right now in April. You start catching fish, but now there's guys that they're going to catch, the tournament guys. They know what they're doing at all times. I mean, the hammers around here,
Right.
they're always going to catch them. But for us regular Joes, it's the fish are pretty much confused. And like Jeremy always likes to say, but come May, that's when the Topwater kicks off. That's when it's chatterbait just thumping them.
That's
But
right. Yeah, that's what I
sometimes,
usually say in our area. Mid to late May is when I feel like that's usually when I get my first topwater bite.
I literally was just going to say something similar, Debo. I was just going to say that about myself. When fishing starts again after ice is out, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. Give me until end of April, early May, and then I start getting
You're not confused at all. As soon as ice is out, you're like, must throw jig. Hey,
Jig.
topwater bites on, still throwing
Jig.
jig.
yep.
Hey, Dizzle, I was catching them on a Texas rig and a jerkbait, dude. The bite was fire.
You mean
I'm
a
throwing
jig?
jig.
Yeah, the jig is the most all-around catching everything. If you were going to learn to use one bait, as much as I love throwing a chatterbait, spinnerbait, moving baits, you can take and learn a jig and catch them every way. You can swim
Gramps,
it.
it sounded like you just named a bunch of different types of jigs just then.
Yeah, you put a blade on it. Still jig. Yeah, I saw Nichols made a comment posting about catching smallies in the White River up in Indy. That's where I was at today when I caught my PB smallie.
What was it? What'd you say? Did you say the weight on that? How big it was it?
I didn't weigh it. I always measure them. I mean, I probably have a scale in my box, but I always put them on the board.
What was the length?
18.5 inches.
Eesh. Like smallies are so much fun, Debo. It really bums me out that you don't ever want to go hit the river with me, because smallies are just like they're angry.
I mean, you swear they're gonna break your pole in half. I mean, they just fight, and it's just awesome.
They just seem mad all the
Dude,
time.
if you get a Whitney Houston boat like we saw that one day, I would ride anywhere you wanted to take me in that Whitney Houston boat. I would feel completely safe with you driving that.
No, is it what? As long as the Bodyguard song plays over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
As long as you dress.
Just realized my if you see me anytime from April through fall, this is what it always looks like.
Yeah, Yackenstein. That's actually one of our buddies here. We need to get out with Yackenstein. He was on. That didn't even make an ice fishing video. We went out ice fishing. That's our buddy Greg. He is up by Dizzle there. We all need to get out to do a video, because that was our whole plan, was to do an ice fishing video. That's when Dizzle was lumberjacking out there in Nebraska. But we all want to get together to do a video, because it's like, you talk about just being regular guys, and it's funny the people that you meet that, are just other regular guys that love to fish that you would never know. Like, it's crazy. That stuff always like cracks me up, that, oh yeah, I love to fish. I'm in your area too, fish the same places, So one thing I did want to talk about. So for spring fishing, do you have a bait that you typically, and for you, obviously it's the chatterbait. So I'm going to exclude that. You can't say chatterbait. Do you have a bait going into like pre-spawn? Like, we're definitely in that pre-spawn. I saw multiple bass, little buck bass, people call them buck bass, and that buck brush. Definitely saw multiple of those up shallow. But do you have a lure, because transitioning from that really early spring stuff, and I'm going to think about a giveaway here. We're at an hour 10. Transitioning from that early spring stuff, where it's, cold, we're getting ice out, like Randy was saying. I agree with him. I do kind of feel lost. It's like, do I know how to fish anymore? Talking about like suspending jerk baits. People throw blade baits. I suck with a blade bait. I don't even really throw them. But like, Ned rig, jig, and you transition to, okay, that bite is starting to turn on, right? They're getting up, they're getting shallow, that pre-spawn is hot. What are like a couple lures besides the chatterbait that you would recommend, or that you have even gotten into a little bit more, that seem to really crush that time of year?
Well, the shaky head's one I've really been wanting to focus on, just because you can do so much with it. But I have to say, one that I really need to start throwing more and seems to be super versatile is the free rig. There's a lot of people that really love
Gramps. Let's not talk about the free rig. Enough people already know about it. We don't need to advertise it.
Dizzle crushed with that last year.
Last 2 or 3 years.
But with if you Texas rig any, like say a Z-Man Helicross and free rig it and give it some line, when that weight hits the bottom, because that Elastec is buoyant, it'll start to rise up some. So you can use something like a TRD if you want to keep it super small, or their little TRD craws. But bigger baits like the Helicross, you free rig that with a light wire hook, that weight will sit there on the bottom, and you give it some line, and you think about it rising up 6 or so inches and sitting there off the bottom. And yeah, but it's hard for me to be that patient. A lot of the times I'm kind of like a power fishing guy. I wanna keep moving. And
hey, Gramps,
you can always use it as a follow-up too, though.
What do you throw a free rig on? Like, what is your combo of choice for a free rig? Are you spinning or bait casting?
Bait casting. I mean, same thing. Okay. I would use a Texas rig. So again, 7 foot, 7.3, medium heavy.
The only reason I ask is, what was it, Debo? Was it last week or the week before? Punch was on Punch Fishing, and he said that he would only throw the free rig on a spinning combo, and he was like kind of shocked.
Gear. He was very finesse with gear. He is a majority spinning rod guy.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, he's got some of the higher end bait casting stuff, but if you look at the deck of his boat, he is tons of spinning gear. All the rest of us mere mortals might have a spinning rod or two, and he's probably got 10. You know what I'm saying?
I tend to leave them at home so they don't tangle up with all the other good rods.
Yeah. So he has spinning, and see, I did spinning gear a lot early in my kayak fishing days, because I wanted to be able to carry just a couple of rods, but I wanted to be able to cover everything. So, I kept a medium, and, that covered anything crankbait, whatever. And then I kept a medium heavy for lighter jigs and things like that. And then I was only carrying around 2 spinning rods. Now, with us going past the days of having milk crates, and, I currently carry like 10 rods on my kayak, Do
you really? That's how many you can fit on there?
Huh?
You can carry 10 on there, really?
Oh yeah.
Crap. I figured like 4 or 5 would be max. Damn, that's nuts. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Y'all are fancy. My aluminum kayak, I can carry like 20.
Yeah, we've got our, and it's always funny because you hear the same thing. Why don't you just buy a boat? I have a boat. I can't fish kayak tournaments out of a boat. It's just,
Honestly, how much easier is it to just load the yak, drag it down, be done? Like, is it easier to load the kayak? To me, it always looked easier to me. Just drag it out, put your stuff in.
Mine's on a trailer, so I launch it like I do a boat. I mean, realistically.
Okay. I was gonna say, I know they got those little like wheels, like the third wheel thing that pops down that you just keep on there.
Some have that. I've got a kayak cart. Like today, at the place that I put in, they didn't have like a boat ramp. It's a canoe launch. You could walk down to it. So I had to pull my cart out of my truck and put the kayak off of the trailer onto the cart, load everything up, and then I just rolled it down. And then since we had another car staged downriver, then I just put my cart on the back of my kayak, and then we probably fished like 6-8 miles, and then went and jumped in the other car and came back and got our trucks. But it just makes it fun.
I just got Dizzle's text of he
like
actually
48 minutes ago.
Yeah,
dude, did you hear it finally go off? Dude, my basement is weird as hell. I literally don't get reception down here. That's why I can't work down here as which I don't know if I'd want that as my background for work. People be like, you live in a dumpster? Maybe I do. Leave me alone. It's a fishing dumpster. It makes me happy. And Vicky Vanacore
Okay.
showed me a boobies, and I like those too.
And I like
Anyway.
those too.
Let's go ahead and
Anyway.
get this out of the way for our frog fans out there, because I keep seeing the May is coming. Here's little headlines for y'all. Wednesday, I'm going on a road trip, and I'm driving down to Gunnersville, and I'm going frog fishing with somebody. Anybody want to guess who I'm going to go frog fishing with down at Gunnersville in Huntsville, Alabama? That's right.
Somebody that you're going to invite me to go with you also. I don't know.
So we're gonna go work on catching a frogfish. I'm gonna have a guide.
Dude, that's awesome.
Heck yeah.
That'll be fun. Does he? Oh yeah, I can say he. Does he live on Gunnersville? Is that where he lives? Is that his local?
So
lake?
the new KBF headquarters he's working on. It's in Huntsville, just south of the Army base there. And so where he located it, it's on the river, and it's a place called Ditto Landing, and it's between Gunnersville Lake and Wheeler Lake. And so whenever they hold the KBF championships from now on, the anglers can pick which one they want to fish, and that way we can spread everybody out. But yeah, he's actually working, because that was two of like his favorite places. So when he moved the headquarters from Tennessee down to Alabama, he actually the city of Huntsville worked with him to get this like marina that wasn't really kind of being used anymore. So he's setting up like a complete kayak destination where there's like a test pool with its own boat ramp. He's rigging out this building for doing like kayak rigging videos.
Dude, I always thought that was like the best thing, because like for a boat, it's, obviously if you buy a used boat, you want to get out and take it or, test it.
Yep.
Like if I go buy a new boat, like there ain't crap you can do to like see if you like it. That was one thing I always thought that was sick about kayaks, is those places where you see him doing like, I don't know if it was at iCast or wherever you saw him doing, is like, having the test things out. Dude, I'm like, I thought that was genius, because I hate sitting down to fish. So if I'm ever in a kayak, like if I ever get one, I've never even fished out of a kayak.
Yeah.
If I ever get one, it'll have to be one that I'm like 110% sturdy in, like to stand up. So I thought that was like the coolest thing. Like, yeah, you can go out, you can stand up in it. You can.
If you go look around any good kayak outfitters around your area, they should have a demo days. And so what they'll do is they'll find a pond and they'll put all the different brands on the water, and then you get in. And because I tell everybody knows I'm Old Town Pro staff now, so obviously I have found the kayak that works for me. But I still tell everybody, even though I'm an Old Town guy, you have to get in a kayak and find what suits you, what your butt feels good
I feel like they're very much like a car. Like just hearing you guys talk about it, and like, whether it's you, Burley, any of these guys that I hear talk about yaks, it's like, well, I had this one, but I like this, better, or this tracked better, or, when I was doing this to stand up to fish, I feel like there's very much like a fit for different people.
100%. Because some of the kayaks, they pedal like a bicycle. The Hobie is like a kick back and forth kind of thing. My knees couldn't stand that. Right shotgun.
Dude, we need to get Greg. We need to put Dizzle in your backup one, and it's me versus Dizzle versus Greg. Kayaks, aluminum kayaks included. For a day.
I'm literally just gonna like dive out of there and like swim up underneath you and flip you over or cut your line.
I won't have to Spartan kick him in. He'll kick himself in the kayak.
So we're gonna take Army Outdoors out.
Standing and fishing.
We're going to take Army Outdoors out and make him get in my backup kayak and have him go out and fish with us that way. Because last time he went, we're all in our kayaks and he's trolling along in his tractor.
Yeah, dude, they kind of scare me. I'm not going to lie. Like I like to stand it, and I'm not a very ask Dizzle. Even when I'm just walking on like the rocks on these jetties and stuff, I'm not the most nimble person. Like any.
Have you ever seen a newborn like cow or something? Like I'm talking fresh, brand new newborn cow, deer, anything like that. It's all shaky legged and.
So if you saw Jeremy in my old kayak, he'll get in it. He'll jump up and down. He'll get on one side or the other. And
they're that much you can do that. I've seen people do that, but I figured it was like BS. Like, oh, this person knows how to like.
Okay, so have you seen that bass fishing dude, the 7-foot tall guy?
No, somebody was just telling me. I know I have seen a couple of his videos. There was something that came
So
up about it
he
the other day
stands
that
up in an old town and fishes at it. He's 7 foot tall and he's
oh
stable.
crap.
But if you
Wow.
hop on the tubes one day when you're not editing, you'll see dudes like jumping on them, standing on like the
Well, yeah,
sides.
I've seen that crap of like it's like a promo thing, but I feel like it's like
Yep.
Flex Seal or whatever. Like the dude's just doing
Yeah,
it.
I
And
mean,
it's,
there's
he's got the special one of like
the old
some
ads
I
in
BS
look
the
at
Ranger
those.
boats. Like the
I look
Ranger
at
boats
those
had
as
the
I
old
need
walls cut out.
I need a
everywhere.
kayak that needs to be able to stand somebody doing that, because think about it, as big as I am, if I lean over to pick up a fish, I don't want to roll out of the kayak, and be
right.
be in trouble. And so my ability, when I was at my max last year at 350 pounds and I was in the old town, still 100% confident. Now, the other kayak that you guys might remember that I tested out, not the same story. Not to trash on them anymore, but it wasn't the same. And that's why I went back and got another old town. And I'll probably be fishing out of old town until I can't fish anymore. It's just, one of those things. But, you have to find what fits you. And that's why I'm saying if you go to a demo day, because I'm telling both you guys, as fun as fishing out of a boat is, being able to put a kayak in some different ponds and creeks and places you can't normally get to.
I think it
just
would be an
opens up a whole new
interesting
world.
layer. Yeah, an interesting
Yep.
layer of like, I love bank fishing and I will bank fish till the day I die. I don't care if I have a $100,000 boat. There's just something about like, I think it's time. Like having, working 50 hours a week,
Yep.
having kids, having like a bunch of, stuff you got to do. Man, I can zip to a spot, jump out, fish for 2 hours, be back without any sort of obligations of I got to get the boat ready or put it to the storage spot or, any of that other crap. Like, I think that's the reason I love bank fishing so much is just I can go do it. I can get home with everything still loaded up and not worry about anything,
I'm gonna mute
but I think
myself real quick. I got to take a call from my wife.
okay, all right. But I think that would add another layer, Dizzle, of Debo versus Dizzle in the Yak Challenge somewhere.
Yeah, that would be definitely something different. I mean, I've been, especially up here, I've been
Have you fished out of one? I don't think I've ever asked you.
I've never fished out of one, but
Okay.
I've fished out of a boat plenty of times, and I know I've fished out of a lot of different places that you and I can't get to from the bank that
Right.
realistically we probably could if we wanted to go bushwhacking and had on
an hour and a half walk to try to get there.
9 billion% tick repellent spray on and stuff like that. But there are some good kind of spots that we could fish in, and probably, I mean, up our catch ratio. You would have to assume, Mr. Steelbeats.
I think we'll also have to steal Dad's boat because he said that too. Now that he's kind of out of retirement, he's working another job now. But he's like that damn boat just sits there. He's like, why don't you boys just take it and go out fishing? So I'm like, yeah, we'll have to do that more. I wanted to make it a 4th of July thing, or 4th of July weekend of hitting that one lake.
Yeah,
where we got on that awesome topwater bite.
What happened that last one of those years? Something happened.
I don't remember. Yeah, then we just skipped it. So we'll need to plan that one. But yeah, we've also got the boat, Dad's boat we can take out too and use it. But
hey, Gramps, what line of
giveaway real
Old Town
quick.
do you have?
I have
Hashtag...
the Old Town Sportsmans are the ones that I use.
The PDL, or
the PDL is the one I had last year. That's what Jeremy's fishing out of now.
Okay.
And then I have the Autopilot 120, which I call the Kayak. That's the one with the trolling motor.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just I pulled them up real quick while we were looking.
Yep.
Debo, what's that you say? You've got
a giveaway. Okay.
Giveaway?
Hashtag no yak is going to be the giveaway today. Now the disclaimer, and it is titled the Debo disclaimer as per Dizzle's legal verbiage here. Please note. Yes, thank you, Dizzle, for putting this together. I will seek lawyer approval on this.
It's already been approved. Don't ask. It's just
okay. Perfect. Thank you. Must be present to win. If you are a Canadian resident, Debo will work with you for some kind of gift card. I like that. Please only enter once. Multiple entries do not increase the chance of winning. Boy, what is it? What was it on the old toy videos we used to watch? Boy something not included. Remember that?
Oh yeah. What was that? I don't know.
If you are
not included.
Yeah,
Yeah.
action figure not included. If you're randomly drawn at both Debo and Dizzle's fishing, so we can see if you're here or not. That was kind of a cool one that Dizzle talked about last time. I don't have YouTube up, so I can't see it. Doesn't really matter to me if
Yeah, I'm
somebody
not
asks
sure.
me.
I think God, I don't
But
remember
yeah,
who it was. Somebody said, "Hey, do that," and it'll work a lot better. So
got to be present to win. Must be 18 years or older. Boy figure, action figure not included.
no purchase
Um,
necessary.
I had a good Ken joke that I heard the other day, but it's not proper, so I can't say it here. But made me think of
That's
that.
for the
Okay, so
after
I was
Debo audience.
yeah, that's for the after show. Dang it, did it literally go away that quick? Somebody dropped a $10 bomb, my first and only donation of the night. So I wanted to make sure and call it out because that is awesome that people
Ooh.
still, after going live every week, people still see necessary to donate, which I think is just cool as hell. Again, because I'm a dude that likes to fish. There we go. Eric D, $10 bomb. What's your favorite frog if you could only fish once? So we'll each go. We'll talk about our favorite frog, the frogs that we've caught the most fish on. Gramps, do you want to start?
Buzzbait.
A buzz and a frog. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, dude. That's
the
one of my
buzz
favorites
toad.
too.
Anything that's not hollow body, I can catch them on. I can catch them on buzz toads, the plastic. Yeah, anything but the stupid hollow bodies. So yeah.
Do you have a specific? Do you run the buzz toad a lot, like on a buzz bait or a plastic? I guess on a buzz bait.
I've started to find I like the buzz baits more like the mega bass. What do they call it? The boa. That's got like the
That's one I've
little.
never used, dude. Everybody talks about that. I need to pick up one. Jamaica boa, I think is what it's called. Every time I hear Jamaica boa, I think of, okay, here's a brain teaser for you. I take you out to Buffalo Wild Wings, B-Dub. You get the best flavor there, which is the jerk. What do you call that, Dizzle? What kind of jerk is that seasoning? The blank jerk seasoning. What is it?
The Caribbean?
Yes. Now, I take you back to my house after dinner for a movie, Netflix and Chill with Debo. We're going to watch the Pirates movie with Johnny Depp. What is that movie called?
It's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, so why is it Caribbean jerk, but Pirates of the Caribbean?
Caribbean is the enunciation of the location.
So why isn't it Caribbean jerk?
Because it's not, Caribbean is not the location of.
I don't know. See, look, hey, listen.
Of the sauce.
There's some things in life that
it's the flavor.
There's some things in life that don't make sense, Dizzle, and that's one of them. Caribbean jerk versus Pirates of the Caribbean.
So this is why I like this one. It's got these like little tails behind it.
Oh yeah, okay.
In, so you don't have to put anything
like
else
the old
in.
Zoom. I think Zoom was who made that. I used to use those on spinnerbaits. Those like little V trailers.
Yep, the little twin tails.
Yeah. Okay, I just didn't know if you threw plastics on them a lot. I'm a huge fan of like the buzzing plastics, and I've tried a few, so I didn't know if you had like a favorite. I need to pick one of those up. Everybody has said that's a really, really good buzz bait. I'm just not a huge mega bass.
The buzz toad you were talking about, I like it because with that plastic, it kind of floats more, so you can actually reel it slower.
I feel like too having just that hard piece of plastic, that single hard little outline, like gives them a very positive thing to hit. I feel like I catch more on it. You still miss them anytime on a buzz bait, but I feel like I don't have as many like hit and rolls, blow up swirl versus like a skirted. So I don't know. It could all be in my head.
And I love to skip baits too. So I'll skip one of the Strike King ones. You can skip those under docks really easy. So it's like somebody was talking today watching me skip a Senko up under to the bank. It's just one of those things. I've done it for so long,
Yep.
I love being able to skip baits anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not a huge there's a few things that I'll skip, but I don't like buzz baits. I've heard of people doing it, like Andy Montgomery, right? He came out with that skipping buzz bait because he loves to skip it. Like I would never think of oh yeah, I'm a big buzz bait skipper, like skipping a jig or a fluke or something,
It wouldn't make much sense if you guys are fishing from the bank so often. Whereas for me,
I
I'm
still
on the water.
do. It's just there's certain things that I wouldn't think about. So that one kind of I'm not going to say surprised me, but it's like, oh yeah, I never really thought about like skipping that up on our docks and stuff. But
Yep.
Dizzle, how about you? Have you landed on a frog that is your favorite?
What's it? The Spro 60, the bronze eye, whatever. That's probably my go-to. And then I would follow
I was just
that
reading
up.
Dizzle's private chat that he put here. I'm glad you didn't talk about that.
It's either that or the one that I probably caught the most on is the Scum Frog. Is it the Trophy series?
Oh yeah, yep.
Or not even the. I don't even think it was the Trophy series that I've caught the most on. I think it was just the regular Scum Frog. And the reason for that is fishing where, we used to be able to catch bass and pike on until the otters got after it.
Daggum river otters. Whoops.
That was I think I caught a bunch there.
It automatically goes to the most handsome out of us three. So Gramps, don't feel weird.
Gramps, that's correct.
Yeah, I do like that one as well. I was trying to think. I know you're a big soft plastic, like a buzz toad or a rage toad too. You seem to fish those more than I do. I fish them on a buzzbait, but yeah,
just like a regular.
You've outfished me.
Yeah,
on just like a plastic, like a rage toad or whatever.
Yep.
Like a hornet. I was like, for me, like the soft plastic toad for me was always like a Zoom horny toad, but always throwing them on like the back of a buzzbait. Or if you want a good sneaky swim jig trailer, a Zoom horny toad rigged straight up and down. Dude, that used to be my secret kind of trick because of the way it kicks. Like it's a tight, I don't know, just a different look. Again,
what's that one frog that never skips leg day?
Oh, the culprit and Creta frog. Yeah, that frog has never missed. That frog literally only does squats in the gym. I mean, granted, it doesn't have arms, so it can't do
squats and leg press.
Yeah, we'll show you that one real quick. Mr. Zembicki, he said, how does the giveaway work? So all you have to do is hashtag no yak in the chat right now, and I'm going to pull a winner. We have 212 entries. We were at 380 some people watching. It dropped to 374 after we started talking about leg day. Must have been the gym bros that only lift arms getting scared and getting out of here. Don't skip leg day, boys. So just do hashtag no yak. You only have to enter once. Multiple entries don't get you in multiple times. And I'm going to pick a winner here. Okay, so the question is, though, what should we do for a giveaway? I was going to do a reel. I was going to do some custom baits, but I'm going to do, when I drop that video on the lure. So for anybody just joining, I was talking about this today. It's fun to make your own stuff. It's even more fun like when you tinker with stuff and it actually turns out to catch you the biggest fish of the day. So I'm going to kind of spoil some of it. That's a homemade DEBO custom jig. I'm going to call it my Ned jig. And again, I'm not taking full credit that like I created this. Obviously there's people that have done skirted Ned rigs before, but I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do it with an EWG style. So I'm sure there have.
That's so crazy to me that more people don't do an EWG for a Ned rig. Gramps, I don't know if you were talking and you're muted or what, but the Ned rigs that aren't EWG, honestly, they just annoy the heck out of me because it's like, why would I not want this EWG? Why wouldn't I? Is there a reason?
Pig jigs. I did say pig jigs before. Brian's custom baits or tackle was the one I was trying to think of before when Kuda was on Jig Squad. If you guys don't watch Jig Squad, go watch him. But I'm sure there's people that have done it, and I'm not one of those guys that's going to try to be like, I'm the first one that did it. Give me credit. Like, I'm just some dummy in Iowa tying skirting material on a Ned rig, right? When it comes down to it, like, who gives a damn? Call it the dead jig. Dead DEBO Ned jig. Good Lord, that's a mouthful.
But I don't think you answered my question. I don't know, DEBO.
What was the question?
The question is why wouldn't you want a Ned rig that isn't EWG or that you could easily
great question. Great question. So today I did have a couple. Now, granted, they were maybe only 1.5-pounders. Swipe at it as I was bringing it close to the bank, reeling it in, and I missed them both. If you don't get a good I'm dragging it. I can feel them get a good bite on it. They start to move or whatever. I can zing into them, right? I don't have a problem with EWG hookups. The one problem you run into with like an EWG style thing where it's exposed is if you're reeling fast and you have something swipe at it, you can pop real quick, but they're gone. You're
but
not
are you
get that
traditionally reeling something that is exposed fast? Is it, or is that just okay, I'm done with this cast, I need to reel it in and recast it? That's more of a bonus. So you're saying in the essence of a bonus catch on a fish, the Texposed doesn't necessarily work versus a non-Texposed Ned rig.
I'm going to say, generally speaking, an exposed hook, you're always going to have a better hookup ratio regardless.
Okay.
It's just like fishing a jig versus
I think there's that faction out there that will
plastic.
only fish the original Ned. But I think the people who started out with the Midwest, you know, that EWG style, if they're comfortable with it, then because, you know, a lot of the times too, you got to be the one thing I like about the EWG is if you've got like the Z-Man Ned locks where it'll hold and keep the top of the plastic up against the back of the Ned so that it doesn't bunch around the hook. You know, it's one of those things where you've got to have a decent keeper when you're dealing with most of those kind of baits, or, you know, your plastic will bunch up around the hook bend and you may not get a hook into them. I actually lost a good one on a Stinko like that yesterday.
Yep. Yeah. I think exposed hook, it's always just going to be a better hookup ratio.
I just want to throw it out there real quick that the Z-Man, I don't like Z-Man plastics. Just saying.
You've got to fish Z-Man, dude.
Randall
You've got to use Z-Man plastics.
I don't like them. I just don't. They're just such a pain in the ass to rig them up.
Leave them in the bag. Yeah, I get you there. But I mean, that buoyancy is what makes the difference. So I said I was going to do a giveaway, and somebody asked for it, so we're going to do a second giveaway.
Gramps is doing a zillion.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, Gramps said he was going to give away that zillion to me, so I could do a different giveaway of something else and give you, like, I don't know, my cup.
So anybody who was paying attention to my Instagram saw my tackle mess behind me, which is why I'm not as close to the fishing wall as normal, because everything I own is on the floor, sorted in no kind of way. And I said I need to do a bait giveaway on DEBO'S live tonight, and then another one on my live tomorrow night.
Hell yeah,
my man! You didn't need to do that, but TKO Fish On says extra giveaway. We'll do 2 giveaways. So I'll do. What are we going to do for mine? We have 228 people entered. You don't need to enter twice or anything. I'm just going to pick 2 people from this one to make it easier. I do have my Dizzle sponsored whiteboard here that has actually, as much crap as I give Randy, I gotta say I love the guy for giving me this thing, because it has 1,000% kept my giveaways a lot cleaner, and I can remember who's who. So what should we do?
Real fast. With 369 people watching currently, only 205 likes. There's a big difference there, everybody. If you haven't, go ahead and go out there.
Dizzle's,
hit that like
Dizzle's
button.
reel that he left at my house. I haven't taken it out. I told Dizzle he was supposed
is that
to
one
go.
of the Googie reels?
What was the one?
Reel. He never even took it to test it out.
You didn't even try to bring it to me. But hey, what was that combo you let me use the other day? That thing was beautiful.
We'll have to talk about that. And that was the Steez Daiwa Steez rod with the old version of the Daiwa Zone. Okay, we'll give away. Let's do. You know what? Just for sheets and gigs, let's do a reel tonight. Why not?
I should have kept that combo and didn't give it back to you. Just saying.
What should we do? What do y'all think? Should we do a spinning reel, bait caster, or should we do a box of baits? Custom baits?
You do a reel, and I'll do baits.
Okay.
I've got too many baits.
Okay, let's do Gramps' first. I'm going to think of what I'm giving away here. I got to make sure it's box and proper.
Gramps, I do actually have a serious question for you here, Gramps, while DEBO is running that.
Okay, so this is for Gramps' baits.
Is there such thing as too many baits?
You know, honestly, yeah. Because
so,
especially if you're fishing a tournament and you're limited in hours. I know
John,
so
just a simple man.
Just a simple man. So Debo, I'll have them contact you. You verify them and get their info, and then
Okay.
I'll put together a bundle from here and ship it for them.
John,
as long as they're in the lower
John, are you
48, because
here?
that's one of my rules.
Yep. Okay. So let's see. John, are you here? 1 and 2. TKO Fish on. Also, thank you for the $20 bomb, my friend. That was very nice of you. I appreciate folks like that, and it helps with shipping for me because I shipped away however many I had that other time when I had this full. It's like $168 worth of shipping stuff, which is
John is here. 918. Remember, guys, if you win, if you're
918.
drawn, make sure and at me and Debo, something new we're trying out just to make it a little bit easier.
And really, it's for Dizzle because I can't see it anyway. So
right, it's for me. Debo doesn't.
I'm going to answer Connor's question about my favorite place to fish in Southern Indiana. Join me tomorrow night for Fishing with Gramps Live, and we'll be talking about that.
So,
what time
Gramps,
do you go live tomorrow, Gramps?
I think we're going to go live around 8:00. And now for the last final episode of Gramps Live.
What? You're not doing them anymore?
Talk about it tomorrow night.
dang, cliffhanger.
Whoa, you can't do that BS. What do you mean? You're not doing lives anymore?
We're gonna talk about several things tomorrow night.
Gramps
Oh
is changing
my.
up the game.
Okay, well,
Gramps,
should I stop going live? Is this a thing that I should not be doing anymore?
No,
It's
you
a
have
new
the
thing.
you
Just
have the
do
best live
shorts,
show
Debo.
on the internet.
That's
Nothing
because
but shorts.
I have the handsomest co-host.
Shorts are dead, by the way.
There's been multiple
times.
There's been multiple. You do not hate
not
shorts.
short
You
pants.
Literally
Shorts
only
on
wear
YouTube.
shorts, even when it's
hate
freaking
YouTube shorts.
snowing out. Oh, Debo,
Short-
you ready to go fishing?
Shorts
This
are great
dummy
for
gets out
not
of his
buying videos.
car in shorts when it's 30 degrees. Oh, it's pretty nice out today.
Anyway,
Okay, John, just a simple man. Email me debosfishing@gmail.com with a screenshot of your YouTube so I know it's you, and then your shipping information. I will send that over to Gramps to send you out a box of goods. If y'all have not already done so, please give Gramps a follow. Good friend of the channel. He's just a good human being, good dude. Fishing with Gramps. Yeah, because he doesn't do the silly YouTube crazy thing anymore. I was going to say he may have changed it, but we just talked about that. So he didn't change it.
Gramps,
Fishing
I
with
still need for you to give me an answer. Is there such a thing as too much bait, too much lures, too many
Do you mean
options?
You mean like tackle junkie level or Debo level?
There's no
Me?
such thing
Oh
as
no!
tackle junkie
Don't
level
even get
for,
into
like,
that
real
BS.
people.
Jim, once we get him on, I feel like I have a bone to pick with him and Bass Geek. That dude he showed me the behind the scenes of his stuff. You think my stuff is bad?
I've seen that. Like,
has baits upon baits, and I'm
We
jealous.
know
He's got all the cool stuff.
He's the backup fulfillment center for Tackle Warehouse. There's no getting
I was
around
just gonna say Bass Pro Shop calls him when they're running low.
Yeah.
Drink PS. But Gramps, in general, not necessarily on your average everyday outing, because I can totally agree there's always too many options when you go out fishing. I always take too much. But in general, just whatever your regular bait cave holds, I guess you could say, is there too much?
Is there a reason why I have like 20 or 30 jackhammers sitting on the table behind me when I've got tackle boxes full? I mean, it's like, oh, they're on sale. Oh, I must go buy them. Why? It's,
Well, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, regardless of how many you have, you're gonna lose them. You will lose them at some point in time.
That's part of fishing,
right?
And that's like, for me, that's why I fish Yamamoto Senkos. I don't fish Yum Dingers. I want the action of an actual Yamamoto Senko.
Mm-hmm.
And when I catch fish and they get tore up, they did their job.
And you're not necessarily one. Well, I don't know. I would assume you're probably not necessarily one of those guys that's like, okay, I gotta stretch this one Senko out even longer. You're like, Okay, it doesn't matter. I'll just continue to use more Senkos because I know I got 17 more packs at the house.
Okay,
Yeah.
this
Now
is what we're doing.
I'll buy a bunch of different baits and try them out, and if it's something that I like, then I will stockpile the living. I'll give you an example.
Okay, real quick while Gramps is digging in his plethora of baits. New Revo X. So I got one of these. I actually got two to do a review. This is when I scored the 50% off Abu sale. Grabbed one of these. This is the right-handed. So that's the only thing I can't do left or right. Like, I'm sorry. I don't have a bunch of things. This is the one I bought. So it's going to be a righty. If you're a lefty and you happen to win, I'll figure out what the hell we're going to do.
Just
I'll make
try
it right
it.
for
Just
you.
use it. It's always good to expand your
or
horizons.
you can just try it. But this is the new Revo X. There's things that I really like on it. Number one, the fit. I like how they contoured the front of it because I do like to finger my line. I wish it would have been all aluminum frame. Now, with that being said, I used the Revo Max X 2 years actually, and it's a graphite reel. I used it for treble hook, topwater baits, walking baits, things where I'm not putting a crazy ton of stress on it, and it's fine. So that's one thing I always tell people: graphite frame reels aren't crap. I just don't use them for things where, like, I'm doing heavy hook sets. An aluminum frame bait caster is going to last you better in the long run. But I like the grips. I think they have one of the best grip shapes where it like flares and kind of does this fluting out. Some things I really like, but this is going to be in a review. Like I said, I got two of them. There's one I'm testing, this one. So I'm going to draw this one, and then we're going to keep talking for maybe another 15 minutes. And that's going to be the second giveaway. So this is for
Gramps.
a right-handed bait caster real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's right.
I was going to say, Gramps, what you got to
redrawing.
show?
So Debo will remember this, but I've probably got, I don't know, 5 bags that are just like this. And this are the special. Ooh, my catch. Congrats. Got you a new reel.
Mike, are you a righty? Hopefully Mike is a right-handed bait caster user. If not, we'll figure out what the hell we're doing, I guess.
So when Debo and them did their special run of the baby D-bombs with Monster Bass,
yes,
the Burley boys came out with they called the Burley's candy, the chartreuse and green pumpkin. I caught so many fish on that thing. I think I've got this one bag for Monster Bass has got like 6 of these bags in it. And I think I bought like 6 of these because whenever they go on sale or they have discounts on stupid stuff, it's stuff like this that I stock up on because they flat catch fish. So I know no matter what, like Senko's, there are things I do not. It's like my brother in power worms, 10-inch blue fleck power worms. He buys them in the 100 bulk. And this for me is kind of like the same thing.
We used to as well. Dad used to get them. Randy was talking about that. You'd go to like the Expos. I don't know where Dad used to get them, but he used to get the 100 packs of like the big bags of the Tequila Sunrise power worms. So
100%, yeah.
I'm with Jeremy.
So I'm the same. When I find something I like jackhammers and these baby D-bombs, then yeah, there's no such thing as too many because I know I'm going to fish with them. And I saw that Yamamoto is going to be selling big bulk packs again too. So I'll probably do that, load up on more Senkos as well.
Hey, Gramps, would you keep them all separated in their own package or would you combine them?
I generally, since I'm on the kayak most of the time, I'll grab a couple of bags each.
A pack or 2 at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I know for me, I mean the Rage Craw for my jig trailers. I have so many of those, and what I'll do is because I have so many of them and I know I'm going to probably burn through them pretty quick because either I'm going to break my jig off or they're just going to, break apart after so many fish or,
okay, my catch real quick. I want to ask again. Randy asked it too. My catch, are you here? Paging my catch. Please come to the principal's office.
I would say give it. Yep, there it is. I would say give it another minute or so. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Then I'm going to redraw.
Okay. But yeah, Gramps, what I do is I'll traditionally, once I figure out like, oh shoot, I have 78 different packs of this one color, I'll go ahead and I will, consolidate into
double
like
stuff.
one pack. Yeah. Like double, triple, maybe quadruple, something like that. I just didn't know if that's something you could do.
I'll do that too. I mean, yeah, that makes sense because then you have them all right there. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, for me, you know, that's just something that I like. And, you know, obviously as soon as I get those rage, I gotta take that damn clamshell out of there and throw it in the garbage.
Get rid of the clam. It's like me. I love the Sixth Sense flush. They're, for me, my favorite chatterbait trailers. Those damn clamshells. I end up having to put them in plastic bags. And then that's how they end up going into my speed bags. It's in plastic bags.
See, I see a bunch of people talking about how they don't like the clamshells. Dude, for certain things, especially being a bank angler, I kind of like them. They do take up some space, but like as a bank angler walking around with a backpack, crap gets like where it gets down in the bottom of the backpack, where it gets down to this part where it curves, and then like you got curved and kinked plastics, and that just I hate that.
See, I guess that's the thing where we differ, Debo. You're gonna when you have your bag set up and I have mine, I'm gonna use like one of the big plastic bags, like a Bass Mafia bag or something like that, to throw whatever I need to into that bag. So especially if I'm going out and I'm like, okay, I need paddle tail, I need jig trailers, I need X, Y, or Z. I'll throw it all in one bag and put it in there.
These are what I pack when I go out in the kayak. My black pack holds, I can put 4 of these, 2 on top of each other. And then in front of those, I can fit 6 3600 edge boxes standing up. And it all fits in there perfectly. So I've got 4 of these. And so now this is my generic one. This is I'm just going to grab and go. But on every other one, I've got one that's like worm creature, you know, so all my jig trailers, I got one that says finesse.
Yeah.
I got one that says
so
swim.
I have, what is it? Like I have like a 55-gallon tote in the bed of my truck that has everything that I have in there. So my plastics are separated between, you know, whatever type of plastics they may be. And, you know, I put a piece of tape on there and write whatever it is. And then I take another empty one and I throw in whatever I think might work for me that day.
Okay, we're going to redraw. I didn't see my cat at all, so I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen him either. I was going to say redraw.
This reminds me, while we're doing this, if you guys have an Ollie's in your neighborhood or your area.
I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
Dudes. My buddy keeps sending me pictures, and I went and got these $7 jackhammers.
Frank!
Hey, Frank!
Frank has won before. That's all right. He hasn't won as much as Joshua Simonson. I think I think Frank has maybe won. This will be a second time.
I remember I won once, and you just instantly didn't even.
You
wait
cheated.
Yeah, I didn't cheat. I put my name in just like anybody else.
You're a dirty, rotten scoundrel.
Anyway, Gramps. Hey, Gramps. Have you ever used the what are they, the 6 Sense bags? They're almost like a like a dope bag or whatever you want to call it for your you know, your shaving kit or whatever you call it.
Frank, are you here? Calling Frank.
Actually, yeah.
Frank, are you a righty? And are you here?
Yeah, Frank, are you here? Yeah, those little bags are nice because they fit the 6 stuff. I actually think I gave the ones I had to Jeremy.
They are. I have a couple of them. I know one of them.
Frank is a Bo Sox fan. Philip Cheek in the house. And
redraw
Philip's
that if Frank is a Bo Sox fan.
Go Braves.
Oh yeah. So what I was saying is I like those bags because they're pretty versatile and they're actually a lot bigger than what they actually seem. You would look at them and be like, yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot in there. And then you start putting packs.
You could pack a lot of stuff in there. Yeah.
Heck yeah, you can.
I wasn't a big fan of like all of their Peg Bundy camo colors.
Sure.
It looks like Peg Bundy cheetah
camo. Yeah, I like these a lot. Randy and I always use these for extras.
I like the plain.
Yeah, so if you need to like run back to the truck and keep your extra plastics or whatever.
To me, that is just a great design. I mean, those and these are my favorite. If I was bank fishing, I would have a lot more of those.
I will say, not only are they a great design,
can you believe what
but
dirty
zipper
secrets
is
I keep in this thing?
Ooh, look at that.
Talk about feeling exposed. I feel like I just jumped on this live with my pants down, showing this off.
You did. They are.
showing my
Did
worm.
we see
Showing
Frank?
my worm with my
Are we
pants
still
off
waiting
here.
for Frank in here,
What?
or
Wait,
no?
what? Anyway,
Did we
there's
see
drop
Frank?
shot baits in here. I feel dirty for having that on screen.
How dare you?
I know.
I don't think we've seen Frank, have we?
Yeah, I don't know. Frank must have booked too. What the hell? Nobody wants
Frank,
a reel.
is Frank here?
Calling Frank. Frank
I have the
Cornacchia.
most random stuff in this one bag for I don't know what reason. But somebody asked me if all the stuff was because I was getting ready for a tournament. No, I took everything out of my truck and my kayak last fall and had it all stacked over here against the wall. And then it's like, oh, all of a sudden, it's time to go fishing. I need to.
Chris Helms, or for anybody just in, hashtag
No yak.
no yak. Hashtag NOYAK.
Frank, I'm
Hashtag
gonna
no
say
yak right
Frank.
there.
Next caller, Frank.
Yeah,
Frank,
I don't know.
Is he here?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're
I
gonna
guess
have
at this point in time, I win it then, right?
Frank the tank's out streaking somewhere else. Yep. No, honey,
Through
I
the
promise Frank the
quad.
tank won't come back. Okay. Well, we're drawing again. Here we go. I guess. Sorry, Frank. Got to be present to win, though.
I think we do it. Yeah. Come on,
All
be
right,
me.
here we go.
God, if this is like third time's a charm and I get
hope
it,
it
that
is.
would be
I hope you
amazing.
win it, and it's a right-handed bait catcher.
Oh,
Midwest Fisherman. Look at that toad he's holding up too. That's a
Midwest. I saw him earlier. Midwest, are you here?
Was the first winner here?
No, it was,
your winner. This is the third run on the reel.
Oh yeah,
you're right. Was the first guy here though?
John, just a simple man. Yeah, yep. For your stuff was. Midwest Fisherman, are you here, my friend?
At myself at Dizzle's Fishing. That helps me out, and I'll watch for it. Debo doesn't pay that much
somebody
attention.
Or something. Okay, so was there another question? I was thinking there was another question I wanted to ask Gramps on the classic. Baits, people, gear. Oh, was there anything new? I think maybe that kind of probably fell into the bait stuff. Was there anything new, just like whatever, not bait specific? Is there anything new you're like, oh, that's pretty neat at all?
I mean, really that one from Lawless Lures was pretty slick and caught my attention. Other than that, I didn't really didn't see anything like new there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what iCast comes out with this year. I feel like the classic was a little light and like new stuff.
Yeah, it's they said a lot of the times each company will keep like maybe something here and there for the classic, but iCast is like the biggest draw where they really launch all the newest stuff.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're almost at 2 hours. We're going to be we might be on redraw number 3. I don't know that I've ever had a redraw, let alone triple stack.
We've done a redraw before. We've done a redraw once,
a
couple of times, but it's been the first redraw that I'm not seeing anything. Remember, guys, if you happen to be a winner,
changing hashtags might help. Yeah, somebody said they bailed after the first one. That's true, but I mean, I called them before.
Well, so hey, you shouldn't bail. If you're
here on DEBO'S
at
Fishing.
me, at Dizzle's Fishing, I'm watching, trying to pay attention, seeing if anybody's here. I say run it again.
Okay. We're redrawing.
God, if it's 4 times a charm and I win, it's done. We're out of here.
Yeah, you can have it. If you win, you can absolutely have it. You can have this right in the caster. I'll give it.
Then he'll give away your Guggen reel.
TKO fish on.
Hey, there we go.
TKO fish on.
TKO if you're here at me.
Yeah, you wanted the extra giveaway. You better be here.
Yep. Otherwise, there can't be an extra giveaway if we can't even give the original giveaway away. No, I'm kidding. We'll still give Gramps' away. TKO fish on. Hopefully you're not
still not seeing him
somewhere else. He paid for his
TKO. He's here. He's 937. We finally got a winner.
There we
TKO,
go.
are you a righty? Do you use right-handed bait caster? Hopefully you do. If you do, send an email to me, DEBO'SFishing@gmail.com, with a screenshot of your YouTube so I know it's you, and your address parameters so I can get you the goods shipped out. Okay, what do we have for closing? Do we have any other cool lures talk? I did have, let's see, I did have 2 things starred. One, oh,
Oh,
Jim,
wait,
I don't think he's on anymore.
I do have a question also when you're done.
Okay, the meta blade. Have you tried any of the 13 fishing meta rods at all, Gramps, or no?
I don't do 13. It's nothing against. I pretty much lose Daiwa Shimano. I don't really. If, rods I will tend to play around a little bit more with because they all basically get their blanks from the same places, except for those like St. Croix who roll their own. In Shimano and some of those too. But reels to me is something it takes a long time to really get dialed in. I always, if you guys didn't see it, Luz actually posted one of my pictures that I took of the new combo that I was playing with. And of course, there's the similar, there's always the Shimano guy. Oh, Luz, ha ha ha, still trying to be Shimano. But then I casually reminded him that Shimano came to be from their bike company making days because they made the Luz BB1. And then later on, I'll say they adapted some designs to come up with their Bantam. But you want to shut a Shimano guy up, tell them that they got their original design from Luz, and then that generally ends the conversation. But I stick with companies that have been around for a long time, and they've spent decades making really good stuff, and it's hard for me to go play and test other things unless you're talking like the Abu Garcia Black Max, which everybody can have one of those to start with, because that's kind of where you get started.
Dude, the Max X, their new Max X, I think it's a great little reel, dude, especially for that budget. Like, it's a good performer.
Hey, real quick, Debo, the meta rod, doesn't that have something in common with something we've talked about already this evening? Maybe with somebody's star crush flustered over, wanting a picture with?
So
yes,
Fluke Master and G-Man Blows, they both fish 13. I mean, I get it.
Dizzle has the meta rod. He has the jig rod. I
got their meta jig.
I want to get one. I want to try the G-Man reel too. Like he was very vocal about putting a lot of time in. I've got a random hair somewhere.
Just giving you a hard time, Gramps.
No, I mean, I get it. I mean, it takes forever for somebody, they've got to get up to a point. They've got Fluke Master, they've got G-Man and others that are working on, building their rods and reels and, but, sometimes it's like Abu Garcia. You would never think of them as a real high end. Did you ever think you would see a $500 rod? Well, when they hired the guy from G Loomis who did all of their rod designs, and then suddenly you have the Abu Garcia Xenon or whatever they are.
Yeah, ridiculous.
They took one of the best rod makers from another high end company and worked on upping their game as well. So that's why I love competition. It looks like it's going to be better for us as anglers, because then the prices come down as each generation of new technology comes out.
The Xeons are going on American Legacy right now. They're going used for anywhere from $314 to $460.
Yeah, they're expensive,
which is ridiculous to think of.
Yeah. But I mean,
somebody did. I do want to get to this one. I don't know if Awesome Aussie Cat's in here. I don't want to forget about this one real quick. I started it from a long time ago. So after this, this is the first one we're going to hit. So go ahead, Gramps. Sorry.
This is that EWG worm hook or straight shank. Oh, I used to be the biggest EWG worm hook, but I'm starting, especially like on creature baits and stuff like that, I'm starting to make that move to the straight shank. I still say the jury's out, because I will, out of habit, I will reach into my hook box and grab an EWG, knowing that or forgetting that I have straight shank hooks in there that I want to really test on to see what the real difference is in hookup ratio. So, I mean, it's hard for me to not say EWG, but I'm meaning to test the straight shank more and more often. I hear when you're really, kind of flipping them in a lot, that the straight shank is maybe the way to go nowadays.
Follow-up question. Free rig. EWG or straight shank?
For free rig, I would probably make sure whichever one was the lightest wire, because if you want the purpose of the free rig, you want it to be able, and I don't know that they make like light wire straight shanks. Those are really meant for,
Yep.
really.
They do.
Really,
RoboWorm has one you can use on a drop shot. I want to see Randall do that. I want to see Randy do a finesse free rig, light wire.
You just reminded me of another newer bait.
Okay.
I'll be honest,
Spinner
Gramps.
rig.
I'll use a smaller sized straight shank. Like I probably won't go any less than a 2. But if I can find a 2 that feels kind of soft, I'll use that over an EWG for my free rig.
All right, so we remember last couple of years that RoboWorm has, been doing like the and so they did some of these with missile baits as well in John Cruz's colors.
Yes.
Well, I guess they just came out with some more new colors, like I think it's like 3 new colors that RoboWorm is doing with John Cruz now, and some of these are just freaking phenomenal. So I ordered like 3 bags of stuff to chest out on the shaky head, but that's like one's like John's Money, or
Yeah, I was gonna look. There's a purple one, of course. Me liking purple, go figure.
I've got it here somewhere in this mess.
Yeah,
this was just the first bag that I could find. But
are those the 4.5-inch ones or whatever, the smaller ones, or no?
These are the 6-inch, because for shaky heads I like the bigger ones, but I've also I didn't do any of the 4, but this is the green pumpkin money.
Fishing with MJ Haas. I agree, dude. Yeah, I think that's a cool collab, keeping it made in the the USA, teaming up with them, and yeah, I think that's a cool collab. John Cruz, I need to he was one of the few guys I actually talked to a while back about having on. I need to revisit that and see if we can get him on for live, because he seems like just you talk about one of those down to earth, like, cool dudes, has a family, always shares pictures of him, him, his fam on Instagram, just a regular dude, who happens to own a bait company, who happens to be a really good pro fisherman, but still a regular dude, not letting that go to his head.
So I was actually trying to recruit John to join us in the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series. We're trying to get him to jump in, and we're trying to get Ike and Ellie to jump in too, but they're waiting to see if they're going to be free Veterans Day weekend to do the Heroes Cup.
Yeah,
are we talking about
that is the thing, though. Yeah, it is. Ooh, I do like some of those.
Can I? If you catch your PB, was that $10 worth it? That's all I want to know. Was it worth it?
Yeah, with the collab and with the way they're doing it. So those are I shouldn't say hand poured. I think they're a machine assist is what they do, pour on those like laminates. Hold on.
That's like, is $15 for jackhammer too much?
I mean, no, but I do gotta say I was a little disappointed that I got that small of a reaction out of Debo when I showed this.
I said that. Hey, Debo, surprise, Randy. I know you love me.
I felt like there should have been
supporting the old Debo there.
Just saying,
I appreciate you, buddy.
I won't ever take any out of this pack, and it's just gonna stay up here with the rest of the good stuff.
I can't really show, but like they do. The cool thing is, like, RoboWorm does some really neat stuff. You get 14 in there. Yeah, they're kind of expensive, but again, it's kind of a one-off, deal you get. But listen, I hear Grant's home. We are already past 2 hours. It is late. Listen, I think
we've been live her whole time driving back from Cincinnati.
Oh my goodness. Holy smokes. Well, listen, we're past 2 hours. I want to thank Gramps. For those of y'all that don't already follow Gramps, give them a follow up there, Fishing with Gramps. Appreciate you hopping on, telling us stories about the classic and the cool things you got to see. Dizzle, of course, the co-host of the show. I always appreciate you looking out. And the legal disclaimers. You did an amazing job, brother. But that's it for us. We're getting out of here every Saturday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Love y'all. We're out. Thanks for watching. And until next Saturday.
See y'all tomorrow night.